and gentlemen, welcome back to Doctor Who Reviews. I'm your host, Rainiac, aka the luckiest man this weekend. I'll get into that in a second. And to talk about our episode this week, An Unearthly Child. The very beginning of Doctor Who, in fact. And to talk about it, I got my two usual co-hosts. Firstly, to my virtual left, he's had a good breakfast at Invitation Brand Frosted Flakes featuring Terry the Tiger. It's Freezing Inferno.
What?
You don't
Terry
know?
the Tiger.
Yeah, you don't know that bit from Family Guy?
No.
Well, now you do.
Yes, because I watch Family Guy religiously.
I don't know, I just know that bit. And to my virtual right, she is the next gaming megastar. It's twitch.tv/concave usurper, but we know her better as Kat.
Okay, the next time you introduce Frez, you have to talk about the book now.
No, that's not how it works.
Wait, hang
Preempt
on.
him.
You don't
Preempt
mean
him.
Back to the 11th Hour by Kristen McTeer, available now on Amazon.com, do you?
Kat, you set him off again.
Well, yes, I mean the 11th Hour.
It's
Tell me
like-
more about this wonderful book.
It's a pretty good book, and I'm in it, partly.
Well, that sounds like a very interesting read. I should look into that.
Yeah.
Chris, right, spent my 10% at this point.
Hazard pay.
Yeah, you are officially talking to the luckiest man on the internet this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Okay.
I won
Explain.
not one, but two giveaways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got a message out of the blue saying, congratulations, you have won a copy of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I thought, well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, dang.
And then later that night I got, congratulations, you have won the code for a shiny Celebi and Zarut.
Dang.
Two separate giveaways, but yeah.
Were you just singing Sandstorm, Frez?
Yes, he
I
was.
wasn't not singing Sandstorm.
Zarud, but I appreciate the reference.
Close enough. So, the very
I love you
beginning
guys.
of Doctor Who. I mean, I don't know. I watched these episodes. I don't know. This show is probably going to last like 13 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, I can't see it going on for like, I don't know.
I will
50
say right now
years
that
or anything like
watching these first 4 episodes, it's amazing that the show has lasted as long as it has.
that.
Well,
I
here's the thing.
disagree with that.
I didn't say
Here's
it was
the thing.
I
bad.
can see exactly why it lasted this long.
I didn't
I'll
say
tell
it
you
was bad.
exactly. I'll tell you exactly how it lasted this long. It's what happened right after these 4 episodes we're going to talk about, which is that Barbara, the companion Barbara, got menaced by a plunger, and then the week after that, they showed Daleks, and everyone went, fucking
Yeah,
shit.
this is not the one that saved the show, gave it its legacy. The one after this is the one that gave the show its legacy.
Well, I argue that there's some legacy set down here, of course.
A little
but
bit,
we do
yeah.
have- yeah. It's an interesting serial. Now, but we'll talk about
Honestly,
that
I
later.
think you are taking this way too seriously. You have to remember, this is the first episode ever of the show. This is essentially the pilot.
Yeah,
No pilot has ever been good in the history of ever.
I'm
It's
just
actually-
saying. I'm just saying.
Actually, what's funny is that on the DVD, which has the first 3 serials, the Dalek serial and the 2-parter Edge of Destruction, the actual first series, anyway, they actually have the pilot episode of An Unearthly Child, which is just slightly different and has some technical fuck-ups, but they redid it and.
You mean as
And
opposed
they,
to the technical fuck-ups they had in this story?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm talking first episode. First episode. Not any of that other stuff. Just straight up the first episode.
A slightly different series of technical fuck-ups, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, they fucked up opening the doors of the TARDIS, is one thing I remember. And also they shuffled around the dialogue a bit to, and you're going to laugh, they shuffled around the dialogue a bit to make William Hartnell's character less of an asshole.
Is that possible?
Just think about that. Less of an asshole.
Because he's quite a pretty big asshole in this first story.
He sure is, but well, let's launch into it. The story that started it all. 7:15 p.m., November the 23rd, 1963, Episode 1, An Unearthly Child.
Ba-da-bum.
Yeah, and we start with a policeman.
Really, Doctor Who hasn't been the same since it cut away from that policeman in the fog. It hasn't been as good since then, and everyone knows it.
Okay, Chris Chibnall.
No, but you get the theme tune, you get the howl around, the weird shit, which nobody had ever seen any shit like that before in 1963, which is a running theme here. So they're like, what the fuck? So you got a copper in the fog outside the junkyard, the iconic junkyard at 76 Todders Lane. Though we don't know it's iconic yet. It's a junkyard.
It's just a junkyard.
And we head on in. We look at all the junk, and hey, there's a police telephone box here, and it's humming.
How strange.
Well, that's weird. Some of that shit.
I should also point out the little, not pun maybe, but the junkyard is I am Foreman.
I am for. Oh God.
Yeah.
Really?
No, it's I am Foreman, so it's I'm Foreman.
God.
Oh God! I just looked them on that website we will not mention now because they're not very good, and apparently there's more meaning to it than that. Good God!
Yeah, I just saw that as myself.
He was a monk. What?
A Gallifreyan monk.
Yeah, not the monk.
A monk from Gallifrey, not the monk from.
And not a Time Lord.
Okay.
What is this even from? Interference Book 2.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. I know of that book and what it does, and
they seem to imply that he's like a proto-doctor almost.
That's weird.
Oh, some of this is wild, but we're not going to talk about that because that would be more interesting than what we're about to talk about. But
weird.
So then we cut from the police box to Coal Hill School.
Yeah. Which is famous for nothing except class.
Hey, and Clara teaching there. And
nothing except class.
Teaching there. And
what's class?
Good question.
Something that this podcast doesn't have.
Is it that show that nobody watched except for you?
Yeah, I said, you said what is class? I don't think even the writers knew.
Something that this podcast doesn't have.
Oh, deep cut. Deep cut.
The worst version of the K9 Australian show.
The worst bit is you're not entirely wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, God. So,
seriously, it's free online. Go watch it.
And that's that Patrick Ness endorsement gone. He's never appearing on this podcast as a guest now, is he? Thanks for that, guys.
Hey, I didn't slag off the show. Y'all did.
Yeah, but Kat made me do it, so still.
Let's talk about Ian and Barbara. Can we talk about Ian and Barbara?
Yeah, sure. So they are two teachers at Coal Hill School.
Barbara's a history teacher. Ian is a science teacher.
And they've got a problem.
The problem of Susan.
Yeah, one of their pupils. There's something wrong with her.
She's fucking weird.
Well, I don't say that in as many words because it is 1963, but
blimey, she's bloody weird. There.
She is unusual.
Unearthly, if you will.
She seems to. Thank you for the title drop. She seems to know things before she's told them. She seems to get bored about different things that she's taught and wants to know about other things instead. It's very strange. And they use a series of flashbacks to establish just how strange Susan is. And what I love about this is Caroline Ford, her acting in these scenes, she's got this whole otherworldly way of moving.
Oh,
yeah.
Which immediately establishes that there's something not quite right about this girl.
Like the scene where she's listening to the radio?
Yeah, moving her hands.
Yeah. It's
I love
cute.
that.
It's a cute little embellishment.
It's really good visual acting.
What's also
It's like
weird
right from
is,
the start, they try to hook you in and let you know that these people may be something different.
Yeah.
There's a mystery going on here. I mean, I don't know what's up with that police box either, but, well, we got a weird kid, so that's strange. Let's see what's going on there.
So our two teachers make a brilliant plan. They're going to follow her home from school one night. This is not, dodgy in the slightest.
Well, here's the thing that they found strange about that, because Barbara talks to Ian about Susan and how she tried to meet with her grandfather, Susan's grandfather, but the address that she got from the school secretary just led her to a junkyard, which, that's weird. So they meet with Susan for a bit, and Barbara loans her a book on the French Revolution. And Ian offers her a ride home, but I love her line. She's like, "Oh no, thank you, Mr. Chesterton. I like walking in the dark. It's mysterious."
Yeah. Susan's great here.
Yeah, actually, well, it's our first Susan story on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure you both have seen Susan in later Doctor Who. Like, I know Kat said she saw the Aztecs once.
Yeah.
I really don't remember her from that, though, so...
To be fair, I
Let's
don't
say
remember
quote-unquote, this is the first...
To be fair, I don't remember what Susan did in the Aztecs either.
She doesn't do a whole lot of that. Is she even in that one for most of it?
Yeah, I mean, she's there, but
There's
don't
one
remember
serial
what she
where
does.
Carol Ann Ford is not present for 2 or 3 of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be the Aztecs.
Could be.
I've not seen it
they
for a
did
while,
that.
but
I don't know.
Anyway, Ranik, have you seen any other stories with Susan?
I've seen the Aztecs and I've seen the story that she leaves in.
Okay. So really, well, for the podcast, this is our first introduction to Susan, which, to be fair, is England's first introduction to Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's she does a thing where after the teachers leave, she picks up the French Revolution book, she flips through, and she's like, "Wait a minute, that's not right."
Yeah. They did do a really good job of establishing Susan in this first 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
I decided to look up and see if Susan was actually in the Aztecs. It turns out she actually got to meet River Song.
Oh!
Not in that, she
Oh,
didn't.
It's in an audio called An Unearthly Woman.
Yeah, that's one of the River Song, Diary River Song audios, because she turns up in 63 London as WPC Pond.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then later
that's-
as Miss the new temporary teacher, Mrs. Song or Miss Song.
Okay. I'm here for this. I'm here for this.
Yeah, the
Susan and
River
River.
Song audio is hit and miss, but that's a pretty good one.
Oh, you don't know. I listened to one set of River Audios, and you don't know. I'm not even going to get into that.
Well, Jago's in one of them.
Oh, Jago? Wait, can we even bring him up?
Yeah, because he was in things other than that. But
Oh, right.
like
Jago,
best-selling
that
Big
famous
Finish,
audio-only companion. who
yeah,
never
like
appeared on
best-selling
TV.
Big Finish audio series, Jago and Lightfoot.
Yeah.
Now available in
Those two
some good
characters.
stores.
Those two characters Big Finish invented and didn't take from TV.
Yes, totally invented.
So, Ian and Susan.
Totally
Ian
original.
and
Do
Susan
not
are
steal.
outside the junkyard in Ian's car. And they're still talking about how weird Susan is. Because, well, for one thing, Susan didn't know that England in 1963 didn't have a decimal system for their money.
Yeah.
They had the shilling and the pound and the half crown. Hell, I don't know.
Crowns, shillings, I don't know.
Shillings, crowns, half crowns.
Shillings, crowns.
Weird shit. Like 6 pence. Or, wait, no, pence is... I
6
I
pence,
don't
yeah.
fucking know. I'm not English. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I was born in 1963, excuse me.
Yeah. You weren't born in 1963, but, well, it is your country. Either way, Susan doesn't know, and it's like, basically, like, what the fuck? How can you not know that?
Well, it's not that he wasn't born in 1963. It's also the fact that he's American. So
Stop giving Paul's conspiracy theory credit, Kat.
Holly, I've got the evidence. Get in contact with me.
I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up the direct line there, Kat. You can get the shit.
Why do I get the feeling that your evidence that I'm American is just as concrete as the evidence that Donald Trump won the election?
I'm going to find a picture of you and Photoshop you into like the Mall of America.
Oh my god. Okay.
My fellow Americans, wait, no, cancel that last remark.
So then, Ian's weirdness with Susan involves the fact that, like you said, she gets kind of uninterested and bored with science experiments because, they're kid stuff, too easy. And she has a weird mention where he was doing a problem involving the 3 dimensions, and Susan wanted to use dimensions 4 and 5 instead, which are time and space.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is high school chemistry.
Real subtle.
I do like that they see her go in, and they're talking, and Ian just says, she is 15 years old. She could just be meeting a guy in there.
That line is slightly more problematic now in 2020 than it is in 1963, let me tell you.
Why?
Well, I mean, technically she did meet a guy. It was just her grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And speaking of her grandfather then...
Well, they head into the junkyard. They don't know where Susan is. They're looking around. But they find this weird police box. And, geez, this thing is, like, humming. What the fuck is going on with it? It's, like, vibrating when you touch it. That's weird. So they're looking around. They hear somebody coughing. They go to hide. And who should enter but William Hartnell as a mysterious, crotchety old man.
Prickly old man enters the picture.
I love his hat and scarf. Can I just say that?
Yeah. So he's quite standoffish towards the two teachers.
Oh, immediately.
But I do like his knowing smile.
Very derogatory.
We've seen later William Hartnell where he's a trollish sort of Yoda type, but this is the early days where they haven't built up the character.
For better or for worse, it's the early days.
Can I just say this feels like if the Doctor was an actual Time Lord before he became the Doctor.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It does.
I can see where you're coming from with that, but I mean, also
like how
Also, keep in mind, Time Lords weren't even invented yet. This is
but I mean, he has the same attitude towards them that most Time Lords would, where they're just like, "Okay, you're adorable. Please move on."
Yeah. That's you're not wrong on that front.
At this point, he is from unestablished alien race.
Yeah, or possibly from the future as just a special human. Who knows?
Yes,
nobody knows.
Yes,
because it's literally in the title.
He's from
Doctor Who.
You can't answer that. The universe will end or something, some such nonsense according to Stephen Moffat.
So what follows is a big scene of arguing and friction between the Dr. Ian and Barbara, where he's like, "I'm not helping you do shit. There's nothing going on here." And they want to go get the police, and they want to drag him along. He's like, "I'm not fucking moving." So, long story short, we were
get off my lawn.
Yeah, basically. Long story short, get off my lawn.
Get out of my junkyard.
He does not give a shit. He doesn't want to open up the police box. He thinks he's telling them, though, he's kind of gaslighting the way, "Oh, you're just full of shit. You thought you heard something. There's nothing going on here." Then they hear Susan from inside the police box, and she kind of opens the door a little. So they rush in, and holy fucking shit. Y'all, that police box is bigger on the inside.
No.
What?
I don't believe it.
It's like they're in this junkyard and they run in and all of a sudden there's this low vibration humming and they're like in this giant spaceship with round things on the walls.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like this before.
And Ian does not take this revelation well.
Ian doesn't take this revelation at all. He refuses this. And the Doctor's just like, "Yeah, travels through time and space. That's impossible, you stupid bastard."
And
of course it does.
We get an interesting tidbit where It's Susan claims she came up with the name TARDIS.
Which that they kind of ignored that as time
that was
went
retconned
on.
out of existence pretty damn quick.
It was. I don't know exactly how quick, but yeah.
They've kept time and relative dimension in space, but they have definitely diminished Susan's importance.
Yeah, she
shall we
didn't
say,
come up with it. That's just like the official acronym
within the canon.
So that's just a weird artifact of the series.
Well, I guess one way that you could hand wave this away is maybe they don't want to say that they're Time Lords just yet. Obviously, Time Lords have not been invented yet, but if we're taking the canon of the show into mind, maybe they don't want to say that they're Time Lords. So it's like, oh, I totally came up with that.
Also, I have a fun thing if you want to take the canon of the show into mind in a little moment. But I just want to say that I do like William Hartnell's analogy when he tries to explain how it's possible. Where he's like, well, you've discovered television, right? Yeah. So you can fit a big building inside your small television set. So that's basically the same thing we're doing here. We fit a big spaceship inside the police box.
Yeah, I do like that.
I like that. What I don't like is when William Hartnell later says to Susan about how they can't comprehend, and he says the phrase Red Indian.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think that was intended to be racist.
Well, at the time, it wasn't.
But from a modern point of view, that sounds hella racist.
Yeah. But it's kind of like how in, what's it called? Peter Pan. They did that whole thing with the, why was the red man red sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you can't ignore it because obviously, like I said before, you could say something is a product of the times, but you just have to make sure that you recognize that it is still wrong.
You do need to be careful.
Even if at the time it wasn't.
Yeah. You do need to be careful you don't fall into the trap of presentism, though.
It sucks.
Okay. Just fall into the trap of presentism. Go ahead, just say it sucks.
I mean, well, yeah. Well, we don't need to get into a big debate about that.
No, we
because,
don't.
There's a certain other podcast that we can't name, but we did that touches on this just a little.
Oh, does it
Actually,
ever?
2 of them.
And if you would like to watch another podcast that we did that we can mention, Tomb of the Cybermen.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that one. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of racism in Doctor Who, we've seen worse.
Yeah, this is just
it's a very innocuous line, but
it's a big oof line.
It's a big oof now.
Plus, I mean, all we have to do is just go and watch that clip of the Doctor punching a racist for a couple of hours, and we'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, that'll make it better. Okay. So, we're skipping ahead, but this is really just a big debate inside this massive time-space ship where the Doctor's like, they can't be allowed to leave because they'll tell everybody about our spaceship and then we're going to have to leave. Which, canon, if you want to play with it like that, it like, in the context of this episode by itself, he's just being a big crotch of the asshole. But canon, Brainiac, you remember a little episode, a little serial called Remembrance of the Daleks?
I do indeed.
You know what William Hartnell did when he landed here?
Did he bury something?
He buries us, for context, Kat. I don't know if you've seen that serial, but if you haven't, we really should get you to watch it sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
But small spoilers for that. It's revealed in that story that the first Doctor took with him a Time Lord superweapon called the Hand of Omega and hid it in London 1963. So when he's talking about, we can't let them draw attention to ourselves, we'll have to leave, that could be, in canon, retroactively, what he's worried about.
Yeah.
So that's some food for thought there.
Except not because that wasn't a thing back then. But
it wasn't a thing in 1963, but you know.
I mean, if I was him, what I would do is say, okay, go ahead, let them go, and then just move the TARDIS someplace else.
Well, he can't really.
He can't because Susan wants to stay where she is.
Yeah, she
well, no, I mean, they established that when he tries to travel somewhere, obviously, if he tries to go through space and time, then he gets sent wherever.
He physically hire a truck and go to a different junkyard or something.
Yeah, exactly. He could go and grab a truck and transport it someplace. He could, I don't know, fly it someplace without having to, move it through time itself.
They were saving the truck for parting of the ways.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Either way, there were solutions here that did not involve leaving.
Well, speaking of leaving, that's his solution. No, grandfather, not that switch!
No, his first solution is to electrocute Ian.
Yeah, because he's a big... Well, it's not really his first solution. He's just like... Ian's just like, right, I'm going to try and find the door control. And he's like, I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead.
Yeah, zap.
My time machine. And he hits the live circuit and electrocutes himself.
There's an interesting thing to bring up, actually. Barbara thinks that this is a game that Susan and her grandfather are playing. So that's her justification for this whole TARDIS thing. And then we get a line that when they explain who they are, and just before Doc says, we can't let them leave. They'll have us out on parade, like being paraded around London, like as exhibits in a freak show. He says, we are from another place, and one day we shall get back. Now that's an interesting parallel with Susan's exit from this show.
There you go.
And an even more famous line,
alert, if you will.
An even more famous.
Now I don't know
speech.
much about this, but if I'm right, doesn't she stay on Earth?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be in the year 2150.
It's not present time, but she's left behind, and he gives a very famous and very emotional speech about I shall come back one day. Yes, one day I shall come back.
And he doesn't.
No,
unless you count audio.
I don't think he even does the audio, does he?
No. Eighth Doctor comes back. Yeah.
You're a bit late there, Doc.
Yeah, just a little.
Just
also,
a bit. A tad.
And also, there's the 5 Doctors, but
yeah, but the way that the way that he solves it is to make the TARDIS have its first ever flight on TV.
And he pulls the switch, and off we go. So long. Wave bye-bye.
Yeah.
London, 1963. History
is made.
And then, Ian and Barbara are out for the count.
Yeah, they're out cold.
And the episode ends on a vast rocky plain with a looming shadow over the mysterious police box.
Yeah, the shadow, but not that one.
And that, friends, is An Unearthly Child. An iconic opening episode to Doctor Who. So, any final thoughts? Oh, wait, what?
We still have three more episodes.
Yeah, there's 3 more episodes to go.
There's 3 more episodes?
Yeah.
Okay, see, here's the thing, because Elizabeth Sandifer has raised this theory. I think she probably got it from someone else, but she's raised the theory of considering the first episode here, the very first 25 minutes, as a single episode story called An Unearthly Child. And then the 3 that follow is a 3-parter called 100,000 BC. Which kind of works.
I can see that, yeah.
Well,
that's the way of justifying it, but that's not how it's framed.
It's not how it's framed officially, no. They frame the 4 as An Unearthly Child, even though it's 4 separate episodes.
Yeah.
And 1 is about the intro, and then we've got 3 that, as we'll talk about, take a swerve into Caveman Town.
Well, the serial concept hadn't really been established at this early point.
No. Even the titles for them is just probably taken from the script or the novels that come out later or whatever. They didn't even adapt An Unearthly Child into a novel form until the 80s. Because I actually have this book. It's Doctor Who and the Daleks, the first novel. And it starts with a weird alternate universe revamp of the Unearthly Child setup where they get into the police box and they go off in time and space. But instead of landing in prehistory, they just land on planet Skaro and they do a retelling of the Daleks.
Yeah.
So
they just cut out the next 3 parts altogether.
Basically, yeah. But I mean, it happens different than what it does on TV.
And that's a problem that I will elaborate when we talk about the serial as a whole and our overall thoughts on it. But so part 2 then is the Cave of Skulls, and we open with this mysterious shadow, which we saw in the cliffhanger, and it's revealed to be a caveman.
He's just staring what the fuck is that shit? And then we cut to the rest of his tribe in a different scene.
Which actually, I recognize this because this was a couple of days ago with the Trump administration when they were asking for a third recount of Georgia.
I was expecting a Geico joke, but that's a lot better. Welcome to the Unearthly Child podcast where we just dunk on Donald Trump a lot.
Oh, like we haven't done that before.
Well, that's the second
I mean,
time
it's
with this
so
podcast.
easy, a caveman could do it.
Yeah, I got a good one off, but that was even better.
Oh my god, yo. So,
This podcast is non-political.
yeah.
I told you you'd regret it.
Laughs and Happiness Patrol.
Yeah, that's the podcast, not the show.
Right, we did a political show last week.
I was going to say, we can't be non-political. You're on this podcast.
Hi.
You're literally introduced to speak to my virtual left.
That's me.
That's not a coincidence.
But then I have some severe questions as to why I'm the virtual right.
Because it's the opposite of left, but you're not on the right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only
To my
political
virtual...
not left.
So next...
To my other virtual left.
To my virtual left.
So next time I introduce you, do I have to say, and to my virtual center, it's Rainiac.
Hey.
I love you.
Either way, we've got cave people.
We've got cavemen and women.
Yeah,
these are our antagonists, the tribe of gum.
Tribe of Gum. Is that even said on the show?
I don't even know, but that's the official name for it, but I'm sticking with
That's
it.
the official name. Actually, it's interesting because the main guy trying to make fire, Za, we've seen that actor before.
We have indeed.
Have we?
He was Greg Sutton in Inferno.
Oh,
So
crap.
also about fire then.
God damn, I didn't think of that. Amazing. So here he is. He's rubbing a bone between his hands, which I could have phrased a lot better now that I think about it.
Phrasing.
Well, he's trying to make fire. He's trying to make
He's
fire.
rubbing a bone through his hand. Someone's getting very excited about that.
Yeah.
I think he put a little too much lotion in there.
We get this. Oh God. We get this interesting look into the I suppose politics, but certainly society of these tribespeople. So
Yeah,
Zar has a lady friend named Her, not her as in Her, Hur.
Which
I
is
didn't
super
ca-
confusing.
That's not going to get old anytime soon.
Did they do that as a pun?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Possibly, but it could just be like they needed a simple cave woman name.
Yeah. Well, either way, Za is the son of a man who could make fire, and now he is trying to make fire, but he doesn't know how to make fire, and he's about to smash that bone into a million pieces because caveman angry.
There's also this old woman,
who's helpfully named the Old Woman.
old mother.
A female tribe elder.
In the credits, she's old mother.
And we get our ideological conflict, like interpersonal.
She doesn't
conflict,
like
I guess.
fire.
She doesn't
She
like
doesn't like
fire.
fire.
She
And
blames fire for getting the previous leader killed.
And
Which might be true.
Yeah. There's also another caveman named Cal, who's the one we see at the beginning of the episode going, "What the fuck?" at the TARDIS. And Cal and Za don't like each other, and Cal wants to be the leader, and Za wants to be the leader and make fire. So they both want to make fire to be the leader. That's really what you're going to
Yeah,
get.
the old mother seems to favour Cal as the leader of the tribe. Horg has promised his daughter Zar to whoever becomes leader of the tribe. Her obviously
Her
favours
is
Zar. Yeah.
Daughter. Her is the daughter.
Yeah.
And basically, Horg just wants her to bear the children of the leader, which, you know.
Cave people. Isn't that
Cave
fun?
people.
Yeah.
But her seems to favor Za.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, back in the TARDIS, Ian and Barbara still
Is
don't
anybody
buy
else
that they travel
confused? Because
time.
we are.
Yeah.
I got a good handle.
No,
on
it makes perfect sense. Of course it doesn't. It's
Listen,
cavemen
we
and
can have
women.
our Stephen Moffat episodes. I think we can handle this.
Look, at one point, the Za and Cal start fighting, and I literally had no idea who was on top.
Oh,
and
we'll
who
get
was
to
winning.
that scene.
Yeah, I think I got kind of a handle on that.
Well, it didn't help when we get to that scene that the stuntmen look nothing like the two actors, but apart from that...
Right. So, Ian and Barbara back in the TARDIS, they still do not believe that this weird police box thing that shook and trembled actually traveled through time. So the doctor makes his checks and shit, and they go outside. And we actually get a title invocation this early in. Where
I
Ian
love
calls
this
him,
exchange between William Hartnell and I forgot his
William
actor's
Russell?
name. Between Ian and the Doctor, William Russell. That's it.
is
Yeah,
Ian. Exactly.
and he's like, we kind of travelled in time. Time doesn't go anywhere. I said, oh, really? Where does time go then? He challenges him on it.
It's like it just gets used up. It
Yeah.
doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, God. That means that Ian believes in the Langoliers.
Oh, fuck!
No.
Oh, God. No.
Of all the things I didn't expect tonight, a Langoliers reference on this podcast.
Oh, you fuck. Oh, Christ. I actually watched that shit not knowing what it was. I remember wondering what the fuck that shit was.
Cass, it's nice to know that occasionally you can still be counted on to do your job.
The Langoliers, for podcast listeners, it's like if Stephen King did Doctor Who, but like just went on a huge mountain of coke first.
I'm 95% sure that's exactly what happened.
I was going to say that's not a bad explanation for it.
But I know the man had substance abuse problems, and also that his output in the 1980s was, shall we say, bonkers.
Varied.
Yeah.
Varied, yes.
Definitely.
If anybody has any questions about the Langoliers, we are not going to even touch that.
No,
so please
we're
feel
not.
free
So
to
why'd
go
you
to
bring
your
it up?
favorite search website and look it there.
Why do you bring it up if you could then answer questions on it?
All I have to say is
Moving on.
moving on. Okay, we were talking. Yeah, that was.
So anyway, they've had their little argument between Ian and the Doctor, and the Doctor leaves the TARDIS, which is a bad move. But before anything happens,
hang on. I got a better one. You get that?
Uh-oh.
I heard a bit of something. Yeah.
That was a miniature arcade of Miss Pac-Man. I put to the microphone.
Oh, it was it?
Yeah.
Right. The hell's that got to do with anything?
Langoliers.
Langoliers look like Pac-Man.
God damn it!
So
I
let's
thought we
talk
moved away
about
from the Langoliers.
Well, now we have. Let's talk about the fact that Ian refers to the old guy who kidnapped him as Dr. Foreman, and the man
The
replies,
Langoliers are in the past, which they're now eating.
"Ah, fuck!"
If we could move away from the Langoliers, then
I'm trying.
I guess.
So Ian mentions he says a line referring to the Doctor as Dr. Foreman, and he just says, Doctor Who? But doesn't deliver it nearly as good as a certain Bluehead's delivery some 50 years later.
God bless you, Dorian.
God bless you, Dorian. But, yeah. So, we also get the fact that this mysterious police box, which has traveled in time, is still a police box.
Yeah,
and
why
that's
hasn't it changed?
unusual. Well, we know, because the thing that makes it disguise itself is broken.
Yeah, both the Doctor and Susan seem quite worried about this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not because the chameleon circuit is broken. It's because changing it would be too costly.
That too.
He doesn't have too long to worry about this when he's clubbed over the head.
by Cal.
By Cal.
And it's wild because he lights a pipe. He lights a goddamn pipe, which is something that the Doctor doesn't really do after this, but he needs to do for the story to go the way it does, because as soon as he lights the pipe, Cal clubs him over the head and takes him back to the tribe.
Because fire.
Because fire. He lit a match. And the caveman's like, holy fucking shit, this man can make fire out of his hands and breathe it out and breathe smoke. Oh, this is the fucking ticket I need to be the leader of the tribe.
You have to appreciate this from a Neanderthal's perspective.
Well, yeah, I get you. You know, I get it. But that's
so the typical American perspective.
I wasn't going to go there.
Holy shit.
The fact that you went there is better because I can claim I wasn't being xenophobic.
Right.
Well, how can you be xenophobic when you're from America?
God damn.
Oh.
Debated,
I have
right?
a point today.
So,
You're
in
on
the
fire. No,
Langoliers...
literally, you're on fire.
I don't think you caught that one.
No, I didn't.
Anyway, getting back on topic.
Langoliers again. Can we please, for the sake of brevity and my sanity, move away from talking about the Langoliers?
All right.
Just for 10 minutes.
Okay, fine. I'll behave. I won't talk about the Langoliers anymore. So, in Stanley Kubrick's Shining...
I swear it's just into our version of Candle Jack.
Okay, I couldn't finish.
Hey, that's weird. Radiac just disappeared from the call. That's weird.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm right here.
For real. Everyone discovers that the Doctor has been kidnapped. Susan has a big freak out. She's pretty hysterical over the fact that he left all his shit behind. Try to settle down, Susan. We'll find him. Follow the tracks and shit. And they need him to get back. And so I broke my voice laughing too hard.
That's
so
what you
Actually,
get. That's
speaking about the
with this
Langoliers.
podcast. That was not 10 minutes.
Okay. So,
all right,
have in my
starting
notes,
now, you have 10 minutes of being free of the Langoliers. Starting right now.
So
I will count.
All I have in my notes after this is Miza mad at Cal. Grr.
Yeah, I don't have many notes for the second part because not a
It's
lot happens.
Yeah, it's not a lot happens. It's very theatrical. People are announcing their intentions and reiterating their motivations.
A lot of Cal's dialogue is just make fire.
But I had to say that the Tribe of Gum are clearly fans of Awesome Games Done Quick because they worship Orb! Which is not a reference to a certain Stephen King short story / TV movie. So.
How do you manage this?
Oh, do you mean the story of the Pennywise the Clown who had the deadlights?
Oh.
Yes, that's exactly the one I mean. But anyway.
That sound was the sound of my soul leaving my body just then.
So Orb is basically just the sun, obviously, but they're cave people, so there's the ancient god that rises. Orb will rise.
It's funny you mentioned the Aztecs there because this is a bit like the Aztecs.
I kind of maybe.
I mean, they were more into the whole sacrificing people for the sun thing, but they do.
And the Aztecs was also about, whether you had the right to try and change history.
Yeah.
And, colonialism, kind of, too. But, yeah, that's what the Aztecs is about. But, anyway, Cal brings the prone body of the Doctor into their cave, and he's like, this old man can make fire! He can make fire! Holy shit, we're saved! I'm the leader now!
Yeah.
And the Doctor wakes up. He doesn't have his matches, so he can't make fire. everyone else busts into the cave, and they all get captured, and they're screaming left and right. And then everyone gets tied up and thrown into the titular Cave of Skulls.
Yeah, waiting to be sacrificed to Orb.
And that's basically where part 2 ends. They're in the Cave of Skulls. All the skulls have been split open with a big axe. It's spooky, it's scary, and part 2.
We should explain here that earlier when the doctor was taken, Ian actually felt the sand that was below him, and it turns out it was freezing cold. So basically what's going on is they're about to go into winter. It seems that the sun is being hidden from them. So they think that by sacrificing these people, then the great orb in the sky will return.
No, I don't think I picked up on that, but that makes sense.
And that's very similar to Aztec culture.
Yeah, so basically the Ice Age is coming, and they are screwed without fire.
So, episode 3 then, The Forest of Fear, which we haven't mentioned, but Doctor Who will get better at this when it has the individual episode titles. It superimposes like the name of the episode on the screen. So you get The Forest of Fear, written by Anthony Coburn. But they usually will do that later over like a panning shot or something else happening.
Yeah.
But here, they literally just have the actors just freeze frame while they superimpose the titles.
They do this for a lot of early William Hartnell serials. Yeah.
I don't know when it stops. I haven't.
They do it for the Aztecs.
Okay, they do it for the Aztecs. Like even at least season 1, they're still doing this. But yeah, so episode 2 they kind of freeze on Cal's face. He's staring. Episode 3 is wild because you have the old woman stealing. Whose knife is it?
It's Zaz.
It's Zaz's
Zaz's
knife.
knife. Okay, it's
Zaz's
knife. She says, and she holds it in her hand and picks it up. And then the titles come. So the old woman, for no fucking reason, just freeze frames for a full 5 seconds so they can show the titles.
I think they did that for other things like the 60s, like the Avengers. For some of them, anyway.
They might have. I don't know. It could have been like...
She got distracted because out of the corner of her eye, she saw this weird orb thing with a bunch of teeth just hovering there.
It hasn't been 10 minutes yet, Cat.
I don't care.
That was not 10 minutes.
I don't care. I got a patient.
That wasn't even close to 10 minutes.
Anyway, the old lady gets Mr. Knife, and meanwhile, we have an iconic quote from the first Doctor here, as they're all tied up, and they're talking about being afraid. And he says that fear makes companions of all of us.
He does.
Is something that we now know, thanks to Stephen Moffat, that he got from Clara.
Do you think Moffat saw that episode before he wrote that line?
He absolutely had to.
Yeah.
It's Stephen Moffat. He's like a hardcore classic Doctor fan. Of course he's seen this. But yeah. And he mentions another thing, fear and hope paired with each other, which is very Doctorish, but the Doctor isn't quite like the heroic character we know and love yet. This is very much a work in progress. Because he's still just a time-traveling asshole who wants to be left alone. Is basically how you read these early episodes. Anyway, the old lady is going to cut him loose.
I do actually have a question before we move on. I have a question.
Sure enough.
Is it about the Langoliers?
No, it's actually about the Doctor. I can't remember, but just to be sure, his original reason, once they came up with the concept of him being a Time Lord and everything, wasn't his original reason for taking the TARDIS because he wanted to explore everything?
He was bored of non-interference and wanted to see the universe, yes.
Okay. I'm just asking because it obviously in this early stage we wouldn't have the normal Doctor where he's all, hey, let's go help people and see things and all that. But you do still kind of get a hint of that where he does sincerely try to save people. He doesn't want anybody to die. He wants to try and save the people that he has traveled with.
Well,
he doesn't show the same consideration to others, but
yeah.
No, definitely not.
Oh God, no! As we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, he's basically he does want to get everyone else that he got stuck with him out of this. But
there is a very interesting bit here actually at the beginning where he appears to lose hope.
Yeah, he's
which is
And
very
this is another thing.
undoctor-like.
Early days, like another doctor, getting tied up and captured is just a Tuesday for him. But for this doctor, who's never really dealt with it before, it's like, oh, geez, oh, fuck, I've been captured, I'm tied up, oh, I'm going to get out of here. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering now if you could read it as the Doctor didn't truly become the Doctor until he met his first companions in Ian and Barbara.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really these 13 episodes that make up the 3 serials are basically about him becoming the Doctor we know and love, and them snapping back and clapping back at him and
I
saying,
would
"Don't
argue
be
it's
such
just a
an
little bit
asshole."
longer than the end of this serial, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean until the end of the next 2 serials.
Elements of the Doctor as we know and love him today do start to emerge.
Yeah.
Okay.
But meanwhile, the old lady's everyone out because she doesn't want them to make fire.
Yeah, there's a good little bit of a fake out here where it looks like she's going to go and kill them because she's stolen a knife.
Yeah.
But it turns out you can do more things with a knife than just kill, and she actually cuts their bonds free.
Yep.
She says,
And
if you promise to leave and not make fire, I shall let you go.
Meanwhile, Za and her are because they're up for reasons, and they hear the old woman from outside the Cave of Skulls, which they've sealed up with a giant rock, and they bust on in to get at her.
Yeah, Hurt saw the old woman going into the Cave of Skulls.
Okay, that's what happened.
Well, no, her saw her take the
knife.
It's going to get confusing again. Her saw the old woman take the knife and head out of the cave. So she automatically thinks that the elder's afraid of fire. She's probably going to kill the 4 people to make sure that they don't get fire.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up Za and decides to get them over to open up the cave because there's a big boulder in the way and they can't move it.
So our 4 TARDIS crew get out of Dodge. The old lady tries to follow, but this is when Za and her haul her back and knock her down and kind of fuck her up because, oh no, we're angry at her.
They mess her up because she's an old woman, but they do not kill her.
They don't. I thought they did. I wrote, oh no, they killed her because she gets knocked down and she...
Her sort of tries to hold Za back a little bit. It's subtle, but she does.
Okay. Well,
she's
they don't
definitely
kill her.
following Za at this point, but I don't think she's trying to hurt the old woman. She's just angry that she's let them free because it's going to hurt Za's position.
So the 4 of them now are stuck in the titular forest, and there's fear because Barbara is she's having a goddamn breakdown here. This is very much
she's having a bad day. This
is very unlike Doctor Who. Like companions will have bad days, and they'll be like, "Oh, a monster! That's fucking scary." But there's never really been like a companion who just breaks down sobbing like Barbara does. Like, "Oh fuck, I'm so."
I like that actually. It's a very human moment.
It is human. It's very raw. It's something that Doctor Who being an early show, it's just playing with it. It's like if you really went on an adventure like this, you'd be scared out of your goddamn mind. You'd melt the fuck down. Yeah,
much like we haven't yet had the Doctor.
Plus, we also have to take into
Barbara is just done, and not like in the fun way. She's just inconsolable.
Yeah.
We also have to take into account the not the setting, but the time where this episode took place. It was the 60s. Later on in the episode, Ian and the Doctor are supposed to do some heavy lifting. The Doctor's like, "You're going to make me do it?" And Ian's like, "Well, would you rather have the women do it?" So there's very much a sense of
60s.
It makes sense for her to do this. Which we should say that she tripped and fell on a dead boar, and that's why she's done with all this.
Well, even before that, she was just really like, "Oh no, I can't remember the way back to the TARDIS. Oh fuck!" But yeah, when she trips over and like runs into the corpse of like a dead boar, that's when she really fucking loses it.
Yeah, her crying unfortunately does attract the two pursuing tribespeople.
But unfortunately for Zal, he gets fucked up.
He gets gored and not by Rhino.
By I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a saber-toothed tiger. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, I don't think we ever see what it is, but it definitely could be a tiger because it messes him up something
I'm
fierce.
going to call it a bear.
Right. Well, whatever it is, it's an animal that mauls poor Za and leaves him on the ground bleeding. But all the blood isn't really his. Like, he got a few hits into, so it looks worse.
He left his axe buried in the animal's head, so yeah, he got a few hits in, all right.
So even though that these people are trying to kill them, they insist on helping, and the doctor's like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes!"
Barbara and Ian insist on helping, and they show the humanity by offering their aid to Za and her.
They tend to his wounds, and we actually get a thing where the doctor says that he's not a doctor of medicine.
Yeah.
But then we get a real fucked up scene.
Well, before we get to that, there's an implication that the doctor was quite prepared to leave Barbara and Ian behind.
Actually, I have here before that Barbara calling the doctor out, which I don't remember the context.
I don't remember that at all, but
she must have had a witty comeback to him or something.
Yeah, because Susan, the doctor sort of tries to keep Susan away from the two teachers. And the implication is they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Which really is what I would have done if I was in the mindset of the doctor. Just
yeah.
I have these two people. They're going to tell my secret. Let's take them to a place. I'll keep my granddaughter on.
But then, as Jerry quite rightly points out, the next scene is very messed up. So the old woman comes too.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm not talking about that scene. Oh? I'm talking about just before that. I'm talking about the doctor and Mr. Rock.
Oh, well, that's a bit later on. But
no, well, I've got it in my notes here.
Okay, well, yeah, we can talk about that. So, while Barbara, Ian, and now Susan are tending to Za's wounds and trying to comfort her, the doctor picks up a rock,
and he moves to Za.
Is he going to kill him with that rock?
Oh, he absolutely was going to bash the guy over the head.
No. I swear he was totally just going to have Za draw a map to the TARDIS. That's all he was going to do.
I like that it's not explained which one it was true. I'm more inclined to believe, given his logic shown later on, that he was going to kill him.
Oh, I absolutely believe that the doctor, at this stage of his character development, was planning on beating Za in the brains with that rock.
Yep.
But I do like the fact that they don't reveal it.
I like the fact that they don't reveal what the fuck is up with the Langolier in 10 minutes.
Sometimes ambiguity is good, except in the case of the Langoliers. But
I will say though, I like this 4-parter as an introduction to the series because it does genuinely bring you in. It makes you want to know what's going on. It has a decent amount of action and suspense. This is the one part I don't like because it kind of detracts from the Doctor's character.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's an asshole now. We know that. But he's kind of an endearing asshole where I kind of want to know why he's such an asshole. But when it comes to the moment where it looks like he's about to murder someone in cold blood, kind of an iffy moment. I mean, let's be fair. Za was going to have them killed. We know that. But the fact is, the man is down and not able to chase them. Could have just left. And the fact that the doctor's picking up a stone.
I think the idea is he was going to kill him because Barbara and Ian were insistent on taking him back, so he didn't want Za to slow them down in their escape.
So he does attempt to justify this with logic, and he seems heartless here, I'm sure, to a majority of the audience, because he says, these people, they will change their mind quicker than the sun rises. You can't reason with them.
Which part 4 kind of proves him right.
Oh, he's proven totally right in part 4.
Yeah, but before that, let's talk about what you wanted to talk about, the old woman and
the other messed up scene. So, immediately after this, was he going to kill him with the rock, was he not? We cut to the cave where the old woman is just beginning to come to. Cal comes along and talks to her. And the old woman, who's still a bit scatterbrained, quite, reasonable, because she's been thrown to the floor with force by Za, says that, they were going to make fire, they should not make fire. And then Cal stabs her to death.
Well, actually, you don't see it.
Well, he pulls out his knife.
And then we cut, and then later on, all the tribe is talk, and they want to talk to the old lady who's sitting up, and they sort of push her, and she falls over dead.
Yeah, the first death in Doctor Who. The first character death in Doctor Who history.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
That's the answer to a
Yeah, she
pop
even has like a
somewhere.
little bit of blood leaking out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So...
Well, there were strict
so
rules
that's
what you could
obviously
and
what
could not
happened.
show on television at certain times, particularly in the 60s. So I don't
Yeah.
think they can
Anyway,
actually
Cal
show
then
a man
says-
plunging a knife into an old woman's heart.
Yeah.
But that's
so
exactly
Cal
what
then
happens.
says, Cal then says, Za totally killed the lady. He's fucked up. I'm the leader now.
Yeah, he assumes leadership of the tribe.
And he goes after him. So they've made a stretcher for Za out of like vines and twigs and shit. So they're taking them. And they almost make it back to the TARDIS when caveman ambush. And that is end part 3.
Yep, they're surrounded. Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And
Although I think we should mention that Cal has been shown to have some deviousness to him.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
they don't just go to talk to the dead elder. What happens is he comes back to the cave, and tells the tribe that Za was the one who let the doctor and the others free because Za wanted to keep the fire to himself. So
Yeah.
he says, "I have a witness. It's this old lady. Let's go talk to her." Oh no, she's dead. Whatever will we do? It
Yeah.
must have been Za.
He is quite devious, and at this point I should maybe elaborate on who Cal is a little bit more. So he is from a different tribe to the tribe of Gum, originally. The rest of his tribe was wiped out in unspecified circumstances, whether they were killed by another tribe, or the weather got them, or wild beasts got them. Point is, he's the only survivor. But he endears himself to his new tribe by bringing them meat. He's a skilled hunter.
Yep.
And while
And
Zara's
he likes to
obsessed
say
with fire,
that he knows how to make fire, but obviously he never shows his skills.
No. And while Zara's obsessed with fire, so is Cal, but he also has the hunting abilities to endear himself to the tribespeople. And that is why he wants to be he is touted by some. Funnily enough, the person he kills is the one that wants him to be leader. Old Mother wants Cal to be the leader and not Zar. And he repays his...
Mostly because Za is just so focused on fire.
He repays her loyalty by murdering her brutally. So episode 4, then, is The Firemaker. And honestly, I think this is my favourite part of the 4.
It's got some interesting moments. And
This little scene that happens after the court. So you got Cal saying, here are the strangers, they've killed the old woman, and Zara's working with them. He is not your leader, I am your leader. But the Doctor finally starts to show him a little bit of his established character here. He totally tricks Cal.
I love this.
I love it too. He can barely contain his glee, Kimberly and Hartnell at this scene. It's wonderful.
So Cal's holding up Za's knife and says, "Knife they killed the old woman with." And Hartnell's like, "Oh yeah, there's no blood on this knife."
Yeah.
And Cal's just like, "Well, that's because it's a shitty knife."
He just throws it to the ground and he says, "I think it's a great knife. I had never seen such a good knife." And then he says, "I'll show you a good knife." Pulls out the murder weapon.
Hey, look, everybody! There's blood on this.
With the old woman's blood on it.
Oops.
This is a Danganronpa moment. What's that blood doing with some knife on it? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, God.
It's an Elle Woods moment.
And basically what happens here is
No, that's wrong.
Our TARDIS team basically motivates the cave people to exile Cal.
Yeah, Ian gets them to drive him away by stoning him. They start lobbing stones at him. And he runs away. He's exiled. Zar shows his gratitude
by recapturing everyone.
By putting them back in the Cave of Skulls.
Great!
So this is an interesting thing. So Ian, before this happens, Ian tries to teach Zar a valuable lesson. He says the whole tribe is stronger than Cal. That's why you were able to drive him away. Unfortunately, Zar doesn't quite take the right meaning from this.
Now, see, here's the interesting thing about this that you mentioned. And this is why episode 4 is strongest for me because this is clear, actual thematic, a Doctor Who mirror alert. Whoop, 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 whoop. Because we have the cave people who are stronger working together, but need to learn how to do so. And you have these 4 idiots lost time and space who don't like each other very well. And they have to learn to work together to survive.
Yeah.
So, and they do just that because Ian, having a grand plan in the cave, decides to make fire.
Yeah. And I like this bit as well, where he says, I will make fire for you to Zar. So Zar goes into the cave with them alone. There's a guard outside. That's important for a bit later on. And Ian just agrees to make fire for him. And he uses friction. He uses the principle of friction, basically. So kindling
Fun fact, kids,
and grass
Doctor Who
and a stick.
was originally designed to be sort of an educational thing. So they're teaching y'all to start a fire.
And a spark is eventually ignited and fire is lit. And so Zar has his fire. He can now be the leader of the tribe.
Meanwhile,
there's a really nice bit where Zar says to Ian, "You are the leader of your tribe." He says, "No, he is," meaning the Doctor. So now Ian is starting to trust the Doctor a little bit.
Meanwhile, outside, the guard gets Metal Gear choked by Cal.
Cal is back. That exhale lasted less than 10 minutes.
And Cal busts
coincidentally, the same amount of time that it took for them to mention the Langoliers again.
Oh shit! Hey, it has been 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
No, we still have 3 minutes. We still have 3 minutes.
And now it's another 10 minutes because I brought it up. Suck it.
Clever plan. Let's talk about cavemen fighting.
It's 3 minutes.
Oh god, do we have to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cal busts in.
Cal has killed the guard or choked him out, but I think he's killed him. He sneaks back into the camp. He dives on top of Zar, and a fight ensues. And the fight is ass.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's funny because it makes me think of that one Monty Python sketch because the stuff in the cave is shot in studio on video, but the fight is on film, so it makes me think of that part. Good lord, I'm on film. This entire building is surrounded by film.
But it's very badly shot. There's a lot of unnecessary cutaways, and the 2 people that are fighting look nothing like the actors that are supposed to be fighting.
No.
One of them is blonde, for God's sakes.
And you get these reaction shots of the people of the Doctor or Ian just looking at it.
I know it's black and white, but the 2 cavemen have dark hair, and one of them in the fight sequence has light hair. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But it's and also not only is the fight ass, but we also see a lot of ass.
This is part of the.
Anyway.
Someone decided to wear briefs that day.
The fight looking bad, the stunt doubles not looking like the people they're supposed to be portraying. That's nothing new.
Now we're in classic Doctor Who.
That happened quite a bit in the Avengers as well. I mean, to the point where Mrs. Peel, the late Diana Rigg, her stunt double was sometimes a man in a wig.
Oh god, Doctor Who pulled from that a little later as well. I think. Just
stunt women were not really that prevalent until the 70s.
Right. So the caveman fight ends, and ironically, it's Zah who used Mr. Rock to bash Cal's fucking skull.
Yeah, and we get some nice character bits here. Barbara and Susan can't bear to watch, and the Doctor is visibly repulsed.
There you go. Ooh.
He looks really disturbed
so fun
by
now,
this.
do it.
It's some great subtle acting by William Hartnell, I think.
That's nice. But, they give Zah... Everyone again to the Cave of Skulls because Zah is fucking guy. And he takes the torch and is like, hey, motherfuckers, I got fire. I'm the king shit around here now.
Yeah. Ian wants to go with him. The Doctor pulls him back.
Yeah. And, if this were an ordinary Doctor made later, this would be the moment where it's like, oh, well, thank you. You gave us fire. Have a safe journey. But
no, Zar promised them he would set them free, and he totally goes back on his promise here.
They ain't going nowhere.
They're not free. They're going to stay with him. because they have the secret of fire. And this is what the Ian's lesson. He learns it the wrong way. So he says that
lesson one:
the
never help
tribe
anyone.
said, whole tribe stronger than Cal. Whole tribe can kill. We're stronger at hunting if we all hunt together. That's good, but then it's starting to get ahead of themselves and get a bit too big for their boots.
Yeah.
So instead, we need a clever plan B.
They do show a bit of compassion in the tribe. They do when Tsar is left to go and hunt for some meat, and he returns. They do give some meat to the group, some cooked meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it's just
essentially by this time. Well, by this time, Za and her, they pretty much think that these are some tribe members from, behind the mountains. Something happened to their tribe, so they're like, you know what? We'll just bring you into our tribe, and you'll be part of this, and you don't have a choice here. But
like they
you're
did
going
with
to be
Cal,
part of the
although
tribe.
Cal willingly accepted it, but
Yeah,
because he had ambitions of becoming the leader himself. Barbara flubs her line. Usually the doctor flubs his line, but here it's Barbara. She says the doctor found a stone with a hole in it.
Whoopsie diddle.
Yeah, they just don't reshoot.
Little flubs like that. Yeah, it was expensive to reshoot.
They don't reshoot in the 60s.
Yeah, they don't reshoot in the 60s.
But it's not. Here's the interesting thing: it's not the doctor that comes up with the grand plan to save their lives here.
Uh-huh.
It's Susan.
There you go.
So
honestly, I kind of like this plan. It really plays upon,
she's absentmindedly just sort of playing with a skull, and then she thinks, "Oh, what will happen if I put this skull on this torch? Oh, that looks kind of cool."
Which actually is really morbid too. But I will say the effect that they use is really nice because it's almost as scary as the CGI they use to make the Langoliers.
So whether she's doing it just because it's something that takes her interest, this sort of whimsical fantasy of hers, or she's actually coming up with a good plan. Ian sees it and says, "This is how we're going to get out." She says, "It almost looks alive." She says, "Not alive, Susan, almost dead." So they set up 4 wooden sticks with the skulls, and they set them on fire. And when the tribe come in to see the newcomers, they are dismayed because it looks like they've burned to death.
Oh no!
And while they're all crying and mourning the strangers, they're out the back escaping.
Well, the ruse quickly...
unfortunately, Zara's actually intelligent. And he says, it's not them at all. This is just fire and the bones of the dead mixed together.
And then we get an epic chase scene.
We get another chase scene, yeah.
Can we talk about this scene, please? Can we please talk about this?
Please
talk about her points out to him, the darkness will hide them. Will hide them because it's we can't see out there. He says, with fire there is no darkness. So they get the torches, they light them on fire. There's a huddle to get the torch into the fire, which is hilarious.
Beautiful.
Just a bunch of extras going, me now.
So let's talk about.
Then we get the greatest editing of all time.
Oh, all these close-ups.
She lied.
It's the 60s, be nice.
All these close-ups of people running.
I know, but oh my gosh, why did they have to show it so much?
No, it's funny. It's funny.
It is. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. It's funny. It detracts from the heart-pounding terror that they were supposed to
Well, they're going to get away, aren't they? Because otherwise it'd be a really short show.
Well, I mean, it's 1963. You don't know if it's going to be a really short show, do you? Oh wow,
True.
That was a neat 4-episode miniseries. Not unlike a 2-episode miniseries aired in 1995, starring Dean Stockwell and Bronson Pinchot, called The Langoliers.
Do you know what else Dean Stockwell was in? Battlestar Galactica. You know what's better than Langoliers? Battlestar Galactica.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. I haven't even seen Battlestar Galactica.
Well, we need to fix
that. Yeah, chase scene is kind of goofy, but they get away. They dematerialize just in time. The caveman spears go right through.
Oh, hang on. Let's tell everybody why the chase scene is so goofy. So
because of the goofy close-ups.
Yes. So imagine, if you will, you are a director and you have to shoot a chase scene where you look closely at the faces of your actors. Do you decide to choose it to shoot it from the side where they jog in place in front of like a moving screen or something? Or instead, do you have them jog in place while you stare them directly in the face while some of your team decide to just whap them upside the head with branches? Because I could tell you which one they choose, and it wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see which one they chose. Yes, got the screen cap up for you.
Yes, I have.
Because I was honestly fine until the first branch hit somebody in the face, and then I was dying.
Oh my god. Okay, Carol, in this scene, you're going to be running towards the camera, and the stagehands are going to whack you in the face. Ready, action!
I like to think they didn't warn the extras beforehand.
That's it.
Just to get their genuine reaction. To be beat
Right,
in the
well,
face.
Mind your eyes, whap!
Goofy chase bullshit aside, they make it out, dematerialize just in time. The caveman spears go right through the dematerializing TARDIS, and they all sit there just like, what?
Yeah.
So our wrap-up is, well, more of a lead into the next story, since the Hartnell era was. Where
Again,
it's
this
just,
happened a lot in the early
I
days.
can't actually steer this goddamn time machine and get you back to 1963. So we're just going to gun it and get out of here. And they end up on a mysterious place.
He claims he can't get them back to their own time because he has no data.
Which...
Now, whether that's real or
Sure.
not, or he was just making something up to sound good, I don't know.
I don't.
I also want to ask you a question. You've seen some more William Hartnell serials, right?
Yeah.
Is it a regular thing that Susan is the one
shit.
that comes up with the plan to save the day, or is that a one-off to this story?
What's that?
Is it a regular thing that Susan comes up with the grand scheme to save the day?
I honestly can't remember, but I do remember something that I did this weekend. Now that you mention it,
Did you watch the Langoliers?
No, I did not watch the Langoliers. I haven't watched the Langoliers in like a year. I watched it last. Anyway, to mention, I hit a milestone of my own before we finish. I mentioned on the last podcast how I started watching classic Doctor Who 10.5 years ago. And as of last weekend, I finished the very next story after this one, The Daleks, which was the final televised Doctor Who story I had not seen before. I have seen the entirety of this show. At least once.
Congratulations, you've wasted countless hours of your life.
Some of them on this podcast.
Yeah?
That he still hasn't watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the happy. I did.
I know you did, because you were looking forward to that one.
I know. I might watch this one again.
Oh, you might.
Of course I will.
I'd like to
Of
clarify
course
that
I
you
will.
might.
Of course I will. Of course. I'll watch it. I'll watch it as many times as I have seen a certain TV movie that I will not mention the
Let's
name
just
of.
wrap this
Anyway,
up. So, yeah,
let's watch it.
I'll lead into the next story, the next series that we're not going to talk about this week, but The Planet of the Dead, I believe is the title.
The Dead Planet.
Sorry, that's a different...
Yeah.
The Dead Planet.
It's Skaro. It's just Skaro.
It is Skaro, but it's not mentioned yet. And the leader is just like, Susan, what's the radiation like? Oh, it's really normal, grandfather. And then as she goes away, burp, 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 danger.
Dun, dun, dun. So that is the first serial of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child. Shall we share the thoughts on it?
Yeah. Kat, since this was your pick, you choose if you want to go first, last, or in the middle.
I'll go ahead and go first because I probably have the most positive review of this.
Okay.
But I really liked it. I mean, you have to take into mind this is the very first Doctor Who serial ever. The very first 4 episodes of the show. So obviously they're not going to know exactly what they're doing. They're going to have some things that they do then that they didn't do later on in the same series. So it's one of those things where you have to take that into account. And when I did so, I honestly really liked this as an introduction story. They got us in the first episode with, introducing us to the doctors, showing us his personality, showing us Susan's personality, meeting the companions, and starting the whole idea of the TARDIS being a space-time machine. Then you move on to the, to the cave people, and that's a decent story as well. There's plenty of action, suspense. You get to really connect to some of these people as well, and honestly, I enjoyed it. I really did. It's definitely better than some of the other episodes that I've seen. Let's put it that way.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I'll go here. I don't think I liked it as much as, but its historical significance can't be denied. I really do enjoy the first episode as a sort of weird, mysterious introduction to what this is, what the premise is, setting up all the mysteries of the show and showing all these vast things. The last three, the caveman stuff, doesn't sit quite right with me, but from a historical standpoint, yeah, it's interesting. And I gotta admit, watching it for this, I picked up on the whole teamwork angle that they use with the cavemen and the weird TARDIS team. There's definitely some moments that are like, Jesus Christ, they wouldn't do that now, but they were finding their footing. And there's been worse footings for Doctor Who, let's put it like that. Really, it's overall fine, but very historically important. So
Yeah.
you got to take it with that caveat when you watch it. It's not going to be the greatest ever, but you're watching it out of historical curiosity and seeing where it all began. And, well, people were interested enough in it when it began to all this time, so there must be something to it.
Yeah.
Raniac?
Yeah, so it's funny how last week was supposed to be the one that changed my mind on the Happiness Patrol, because listening to you talk about Unearthly Child has changed my mind on how I feel about it while I've been doing this podcast. So I watched it for the first time 7 years ago when they showed it in the lead up to the 50th anniversary. And I didn't have too many thoughts about it other than, that's a bit of a novelty, a bit of a curiosity. It's the 60s. Watched it again this weekend. Didn't think it was that good, but Kat's arguments are actually quite compelling. And yet it is the 60s, and I think this is, in the right sense of the word, a product of its time. In that it's the 60s, you have to expect it's not going to be like the greatest production values, the greatest serial of all time.
Yeah.
That's, I think, is the right meaning of the term a product of its time, and not to excuse some racist stuff. And there were a couple of moments that, as Frezno says, wouldn't make it in, if this was a modern day story, wouldn't make it in at all, like the Red Indian stuff. But I can gloss over that. And there are a couple of scenes I really do enjoy. I really enjoy how the Doctor tricks Cal into revealing he's the murderer of the old woman, not Tsar. I don't enjoy the fight. The fight is awful. But it is important in terms of the storyline. And at the end of the day, this is the very first serial of the entire series. And typically, the first edition of a long-running series or saga isn't going to be as good as what comes after it. James Bond comes to mind immediately. Doctor No is a good film, but other films in that series would far surpass it in terms of quality and storyline.
Yeah.
Essentially, it has the same problems that an origin movie would have, where that's why so many origin movies of Spider-Man fails, because we're just getting the same story retold over and over again. That's why nobody likes to hear about Batman origin stories, because we know that Martha and Thomas Wayne get killed. We know that by now. And that's why I think that stuff like Homecoming did so well.
Yeah, because it changed it completely, didn't it?
It pretty much established the fact that we know you know who Spider-Man is. You know who Spider-Man is. We're just going to go ahead and say Spider-Man has been doing this for a while now, which is the right move to take.
They introduced him in the Civil War Captain America movie.
Oh, he has a great introduction in Civil War.
It was basically just that. His Iron Man's just like, hey, this guy named Spider-Man exists. Let's get him in on this shit.
Yeah. Underoos, you're up.
His Uncle Ben, he got bit by a radioactive spider or anything like that. They just went ahead and went on with him.
Yeah, great.
And that's the same idea for this, is that they have to introduce all the main
But that's
characters
my
of this
point,
show.
really, that, everything has to start somewhere, and this is the start for Doctor Who, and it's far from the best, it's far from the worst, and we
Yeah.
do owe it a huge amount of gratitude because everything that came after it would not exist were it not for this one little curious serial. So
Yeah.
I can point out its flaws. I still rather enjoyed it after thinking about it more after what you said, Kat. And yeah, I'm grateful to it for existing because we got everything that came after it, and this podcast indeed we got out of it. So thank you to Verity Lambert and thank you, An Unearthly Child.
Thanks.
Yep. And if anybody needs like a real world example of what I'm talking about, go and watch the Steven Universe pilot episode, and then go watch the actual episode and see what changed between those.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I hate to bring up Power Rangers, but Power Rangers had a pilot episode that completely changed.
Wild.
Yeah.
One of the Rangers changes completely.
Oh Jesus! Really? Okay.
Yeah, Trini was a black girl.
Oh wow!
And then she became.
Yeah. So slightly a little too on point. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right. So next time.
Next time
is your choice.
Okay. Hey, Rainiac, have you ever seen this little pure movie, Langle?
We're not turning into a Stephen King podcast.
I love the fact that you cut
it.
out on that and I still caught enough of it to know what you were talking about. God damn it, I hate you.
Anyway, you may have heard of this film called The Langoliers. Well, guess what? We're not talking about it next week on the podcast.
Thank goodness.
Oh crap, he wants us to do Maximum Overdrive.
No. Instead, I'm going to mirror you, Kat. Because not the last pick you had, but the last pick before that.
Oh, is that time? It's already that time, is it?
Yeah, it's that time. You gave us a discussion of the Weeping Angels. Just taking a couple modern episodes and looking at the overall structure of a particular monster. I'm going to kind of do that, but I'm going to widen the net just a little and talk about a subject. Well, get everyone to talk about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. So,
we're not doing Clara.
We're not doing Clara. Next time on Doctor Who Reviews, a discussion of The Silence. The monster. The organization. The arc. The Silence.
Yeah. So the whole
cool. I might actually understand this arc this time.
The whole River Song subplot, the whole Silence Will Fall subplot, all of that.
Yeah. So I've got some notes I'll share with you, but at the core, I've got 5 episodes that we can look at and analyze the arc. So they are The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, A Good Man Goes to War, The Wedding of River Song, and The Time of the Doctor.
Yeah, they're all good.
Oh, actually, Frez, you got one of those titles wrong. It's actually The Day of the Egg.
You're right. I'm sorry. Day of the Egg. Yes, but I mean, there's also some episodes and little bits of the plotline that I'd like to talk about. For example, we don't need to watch Let's Kill Hitler because I like you two, and I don't want to make you watch Let's Kill Hitler. But we can talk about the 2 minutes of arc information that Let's Kill Hitler gives us.
Well, it's more than 2 minutes, but yes.
Well, you know what I mean. We don't need to watch Let's Kill Hitler.
Can we also just make sure to talk about the fact that Rory shoved Hitler in a cupboard, which is still funny?
Yes, we will mention the fact that Rory took Hitler and shoved him for the episode.
Okay, I like that.
That's good.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got 5 episodes that we'll watch, and then we've got a bunch of other episodes that we'll briefly touch on plot shenanigans for. I think we can make a pretty fun little podcast out of it because this stuff has been living rent-free in my brain for, and I'd like to get it out in audio form and have fun with it.
Cool. And we can finally talk more about how shafted Amy and Rory got in their run. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So Rainiac, anything to announce?
Well, a couple of major things, actually. We got a trailer for Revolution of the Daleks.
Oh, shit. New Doctor Who.
We recorded this on the 30th of November. This dropped the day before, the 29th, on the Sunday. It's a pretty good trailer.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that one yet. I need to go watch it.
It has revealed what we all, I feared, New Year's Day. And not Christmas Day, which would have been better, but yeah. So we'll be reviewing that in the new year.
We already kind of knew we weren't going to get any more Doctor Who for the rest of the year, so...
Yeah, we probably won't because of the pandemic.
I mean, I can't blame them.
They are filming Doctor Who right now.
So it'll probably be, that'll be our 2021 resolution one. And then 2022, a year from now, we'll get Series 13?
Possibly, or we might get it in the tail end of 2021.
I doubt that. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I honestly doubt
that. They haven't revealed anything yet, but they are filming right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, look how patient they were when we didn't have a hell world.
True.
So this is not about the upcoming Alex episode, but I was just reading something very quickly. Apparently the bones in the Cave of Skulls were real bones.
Yeah.
And according to this, they were very unpleasant to smell under the hot studio lights.
Well, that reminds me of an interesting fact where you might remember David Tennant broke off from Doctor Who for a while, and that's why we had the specials before he ultimately left at the end of time. One of the reasons why they had those specials was he wanted to do Hamlet, a production of Hamlet.
Mm.
And in that production of Hamlet, he held up a real skull.
Oh my god.
And that real skull belonged to somebody who donated it in their will to the production.
That's okay.
Yeah, but that's not the part that kind of worries me. It's the fact that Susan was just playing around with one of them.
Well, I'd hope that was a prop.
We just said they weren't props. We said they were bones.
As we've seen from Indiana Jones, people are not afraid to just throw real skeletons at people.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus. So, where can we find?
Was there anything else to talk about? Thin Ice is the next Doctor Who watch along on Saturday.
Punch that racist!
Yeah,
yay, racist punching!
It didn't win. It didn't win its respective poll when Bill Potts was the subject. The pilot did, but Emily is now doing a series of Christmassy themed or winter themed episodes, and this is the first one up.
Merry Christmas! Punch a racist.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
And also,
okay.
there's a chance that the next podcast, The Silence, might not be next week, depending on personal circumstances, because I do have to go out and do some Christmas shopping.
We'll see.
I think it might be on the Monday, or it might be on the Tuesday. If it's on the Monday, I might be too tired to do anything, but to come back and podcast. But we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. Obviously, at Christmas time, things are going to be a bit more, should we say, hectic anyway.
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
You think I'm going outside in this hell world? I did all my shit.
That's true. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was a fool not to, but I have shopping to get for people. So yeah. Anyway, then I can't think of anything else, so let's just wrap it up. Thank you to Freezing Inferno and to Kat for talking about an Unearthly Child. I always make that mistake. With us, the very first serial of Doctor Who. Thank you to you, the audience, for listening to us talk about the very first serial in Doctor Who history. And join us next time, either next week or whenever it may be, when we discuss in detail The Silence. And silence will fall. Yes, I'm going to mute Kat's mic for that entire podcast.
Hey, did anyone else suddenly get these weird marks on their arms? It's really strange. It just appeared out of nowhere. It's weird. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Yeah, good job completely ducking that little burn on you. So I appreciate that. Well done. Join us next time for The Silence.
The Langoliers.
And the Langoliers.
Join us next time for the Langoliers.
No. Not the Langoliers. Definitely not the Langoliers. Until then, bye for now.
Bye.